do you even start a video like this? The Fantastic Four movies are living, breathing memes.
Whoa!
You only need to type in Fantastic Four movies ranked on YouTube, click on any video, and 9 times out of 10, you'll find comments like, all of them suck, all of them blow, they're all
Whoa!
You forgot The Incredibles.
Now that's not to say all of them are awful. I mean, I don't think any of them are great. I wouldn't even say any of them are necessarily good. And that's saying something since we're supposed to be looking at the best one. But I would say a few of them are definitely much more entertaining than the others. You got the 1994 movie with the questionable CGI, the early 2000s movies with Chris Evans and his meme-worthy laugh, and the recent dark and gritty one. We all have our own opinions. I get that, and that's fine. But these two are god-awful! And I'm not just here to praise the ones with Captain America in it, because to be honest, they aren't praiseworthy. I don't think this is a very bad movie, but that doesn't mean it's a very good one either. It's just bleh. That's what it is. Bleh. It's very mediocre. This movie is cheesy. This movie is cliche. It's corny. It's stupid. It's silly. And yet, it knows that. The whole thing plays off like a Disney Channel sitcom, and it stays consistent throughout.
How bad is it? You know, I used to smoke.
You just watched an STI on Disney Channel.
And I think that's what makes it somewhat entertaining. It's what makes them sort of watchable. Some people kind of exaggerate on how terrible these two are. And yeah, you kind of get where they're coming from, but they're not that horrible. These aren't unwatchable. This isn't so bad it makes you want to turn off the TV. I can't say the same for these two. I don't hate these other movies. Hate's kind of a strong word. I just think they're a different kind of bad. The kind of bad that's unwatchable. And they're both unwatchable for their own different reasons. Well, whatever do you mean by that, you might ask? Well, let's start with the first unreleased film. Here's the best way I can put it. Have you ever seen those rap battles on YouTube where there's no beat at all, hardly any flows or rhyming, and it overall just induces you to cringe? Sorta like this.
I don't even want to start because I'm just gonna end this quick. I don't even know how I even ended up in this. Like, how am I saying weak rhymes at this weak rapper? Because I just can't figure out. I'm better than you. You like parappa to rapper. I can't even touch my lines. Yo, you think it's fine until I slap you with my 9. Man, I'm wasting time. I can't even say why, but you just ain't worth my rhymes.
There's even a dog barking in the distance asking him to please stop.
Yeah, that's how it feels to watch this movie. There are some parts where it's not trying to be funny, but it is. They have bad visual effects, terrible dialogue, horrible execution. It's just all around a really hard watch to sit through. I had to watch this movie in 10 or 20 minute bursts because I couldn't sit through it without feeling super uncomfortable. It took me almost a week to just finish it. And the acting, oh, the acting.
See ya. Oh. Oh.
Yep, it's as you'd expect. I wouldn't recommend that you see it if you haven't already. But if you do go out of your way to watch it, just be careful, alright? Now that's something I can give this movie. It makes you feel something. It makes you cringe. It makes you laugh sometimes. But at least it gave you something, because the 2015 one doesn't give you anything. Here's the thing. I think this movie is visually okay. The visual effects are alright, the cinematography is pretty good, the actors are doing an okay job, but the thing is, nothing happens here! The first half of the movie, you don't really mind the dark and gloomy tone they're going for, because it's a new retelling of their story. You almost start feeling something actually, because you can see the build-up towards them having to deal with their powers and finding friendship in each other. But once it hits that part to where it says 1 year later, everything that you felt was just a lie. And by the end of this movie, you realize nothing happened. That's what makes this hard to watch. Now that you know what happens from beginning to end, all it does is bore you. I don't see how anyone could call this one the best Fantastic Four movie of them all. Now again, I don't think any of these are particularly good. So when you're saying the best, you're really just saying the least worst. But I can't, for the life of me, see how people view this as the least worst. Jessica Alba's Fantastic Four films are mediocre, sure, but they do have some solid character moments where it's genuinely entertaining, so you come out feeling alright at the end. The older Fantastic Four movie is so nauseatingly bad that it feels like a challenge. It makes you feel like you accomplished something by watching the whole thing through. But this one, I've had insomnia for 7 to 8 years now, and I think this is it. This is the cure. Nothing ever happens. They fight Doom at the end for 2 minutes, and then they go home. The characters hardly even talk to each other. And that's arguably what made the 2 movies before it better. They all had personalities to bounce off of each other. Johnny was the little kid of the family who always caused trouble. Ben was the older sibling who always fought with Johnny. Sue was the mother trying to keep everyone together. And Reed was the nerdy dad that planned everything out and took everything seriously. In this iteration, yeah, they had some character traits, but what makes it feel so lifeless is that
no one bounces off of each other.
And when they do, none of it makes a lot of sense. Reed drags Ben to another dimension that could potentially be really harmful, even though 80% of the time he looked like he didn't know what he was doing. When Reed came back after he left, the only one who isn't angry at him is Johnny. Why? And I don't remember Sue ever saying a single word to Ben at all. At the end of the day, it feels like a chore to watch this movie. And not the encouraging, self-challenging kind like the unreleased one, but the boring kind. It's dull. It has no soul. It just has nothing. The movie just feels so empty. That's really the sad part too, because it makes the ending all the more abysmal. Their execution on the Doom fight here was so sad that not even destroying Earth itself made it feel like they had stakes. I was so detached from the movie by the very end of it that even when they showed clips of our Earth being destroyed by the Dr. Doom beam, I still didn't feel anything. I was more engaged in the 2005 ending, and that took place in a small neighborhood. That weightless, soulless emptiness of a fight scene from 2015 made the ending from 2005 feel like the Wakanda fight scene in Avengers Infinity War. Even with the poorly written lines and all the cheesiness that came with the Tim Story movies, they were way more entertaining than the other two. And rest assured, there are some really terrible lines in there.
Bring it, Burnout.
You two need a timeout!
Dear Lord! Say what you want about this version, but at least you have some sort of investment in their characters. You could even use that same argument from last time. Nothing happens in the first movie. They mainly just have childish arguments inside a building for the majority of the time. But at least you have these oafs to fall back on. It's dumb, it feels ridiculous, half the team acts like kids, but it's all somewhat enjoyable to watch because they accept it for what it is. So if you're really trying to find out which one is the best Fantastic Four movie out of the bunch, then I think it really comes down to these two. The plot might not be the best, the dialogue might not be the best, but you've got a really good cast with, hands down, the best chemistry with one another for a Fantastic Four team so far. If you had to pick just one, I'd probably lean more towards the Silver Surfer one. That's debatable though. They're almost about the same in quality. I could kinda understand it if you like the other one more. It does have even more stupid moments than the first one though. The military is recruiting an unlawfully violent person because the Fantastic Four aren't good enough. Yes, because that's how things would work. Actually, why is he even here? Why'd they bring back Doom? They even visually queefed all over Galactus. I get that a guy in a bright purple suit with an antenna hat in live action would have been silly looking, but they could have redesigned him so that he looked a little closer to what he should have. Like tone down the purple or something. Make it more dark than bright. Kinda like what Marvel did with Hawkeye. The first Fantastic Four movie was pretty evenly mediocre throughout, but the second one has some moments that blow scenes from the first one out of the water. But it also has some scenes that are worse than some of those from the first. Now that's what I call quality acting right there.
Hey guys, what's going on? Which way is gonna go?
So it balances out in the end. You can pick and choose what you like the most, but in terms of rewatchability, I think that's what gives the second one an edge over the first. With all the baggage it comes with, the dodgy dialogue, weird moments, and the really dumb idea of bringing Dr. Doom back for absolutely no reason, you can actually safely say something happens in this movie. Reed and Sue are trying to get married, but they gotta deal with the Silver Surfer. Then they gotta deal with the man-eating planet. To me, the plot's more engaging here than the first. I think Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer is the best Fantastic Four movie we have so far. But it's kinda sad to even say that, because the best Fantastic Four movie isn't great. It's just mediocre. And that's gonna be like that for a long time. Most of you out there have faith in Marvel making another Fantastic Four movie. A genuinely good one this time. And I do too. But they've said it themselves that making a movie about them is still years away. Do you think it was too much? Was it too much to ask for a good Fantastic Four movie? And not just really average ones like these two, but an actual competently well-made film. One with great actors, a great director, and a great story. I think we're past the age of just taking schlock from a bunch of sellout companies. There's tons of talent out there. amazing directors and screenwriters. But after 4 desperate attempts to give the franchise life, the best they managed to make is still not very good. I like Marvel, and I think they've been really killing it lately. But is the answer to these kinds of problems always just wait till Marvel gets the rights back? Marvel makes competently well-made films because they hire competent directors, actors, and screenwriters. After 20 years of below average to just average films with these characters, whether it was by Marvel or not, don't you think us fans deserve a good Fantastic Four movie? One that we could say that was universally considered good?
No, screw you. The best one is The Incredibles.